Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back. We have a bit of a lag. I'm going to see if I can edit that out. But, yeah. So today is a credits episode. And credits episodes, for anyone who's new here, is episodes where we just talk about whatever we want. We might cover a case. We might play a game. We just do whatever we feel like doing that day. Okay? In today's episode, we're going to talk about the case of Alisha McQueen. And I haven't actually heard that much about this case. I think there's like 2 other podcasts that I've listened to about it.
Yeah.
And a couple of like articles. But like considering what we're about to discuss, it's actually kind of mad that it hasn't gotten much coverage.
Yeah. I guess also sometimes I find that some of them that are solved don't get as much coverage. But then more importantly, like the victim is black. So why would it get coverage?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm drinking today. I haven't been drinking in a while, and I actually am excited to show you what I'm drinking, because I saw someone tweet about it. So you know how Yellowtail have jammy red roux? Mm-hmm. That red wine, the first red wine I ever liked, they have jammy rosé roux. Look at it.
Okay.
And like, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't, it's not like, it's like a mix between the jammy red roux and like a pink Moscato. Like it's really nice. It's really nice.
That's sweet. That's sounding sweet.
It's sweet, but it's got a bit of body. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so next time you come, I'll get it for us.
Oh, I'm drinking port tonight, mate. I can't stop drinking port. Like, I just love it.
That you have with port.
Okay, if you heard my mum
it's amazing.
In the background, she said something about, what did you say, mummy? I hope you bought some port. She said, I hope you bought some ports, i.e. like, how can I drink something I didn't pay for? Because she loves port, so people keep giving her port. And then I love it. Like recently it's all I can drink. So yeah.
Yeah, port is amazing. Port is such good vibes.
I feel like we should have my mum on the podcast. Her ad-libs, like if the people could hear her ad-libs, that alone would make an episode.
So this case takes place in a somewhere called Ecorse, which is a small town in Michigan. It's kind of near Detroit. Like it's only like 20 minutes from Detroit. It's like going from Collindale to Brent Cross, or going from like Brixton to Streatham. Like it's not that far. It's quite close. It's kind of like when you're from ends that no one really knows about, and you're like, oh yeah, actually I'm from near here. That's the vibe. Ecorse is not really that big, right?
Nothing good happens in Detroit. Like nothing good.
I've never heard. I don't think I've heard a single.
Other than maybe Big Sean, that, and even he's questionable. Like nothing good happens in Detroit.
Yeah. I remember, was it Detroit that someone I think some girl from the UK moved to? Yeah, she was talking about, I relocated to Detroit, and everyone was like, why would you move to Detroit? Was it Detroit? Or was it Chicago? No, maybe it was Detroit.
It was probably Detroit because Chicago is actually decent.
Chicago has things. They have the pizza. So yeah, we're going to get into the details. So like we said, this case is about Alisha McQueen, and we're going to get into the details about Alisha McQueen, like who she was and all that kind of stuff, because I think it's important. But this case kind of has to be told as it unfolded for it to kind of make sense, right? So we're going to throw back to August the 25th, 2018, which when you think about it, really wasn't that long ago, right? So the Ecorse Police Department, they get a phone call, and it's a very memorable phone call because this is the first type of phone call that they have in this small little podunk town, and I doubt they've ever had a phone call like this since then, right? So the call is from this dad, and him and his kids are going go-karting in this random like abandoned factory area. It's really hard to imagine it until I can kind of see pictures of the area. It's just like wasteland with lots of like concrete and little tufts of grass. Then it had another area where the grass was just really, 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 really high. So it was kind of like desert vibes. And it was just weird, but because it was concrete, a flat surface, it's perfect for go-karting. No one's there. You're not going to be worried about like running into anyone or anything like that. So he was like, yeah, okay, we're going to take the go-karts out. So these guys are, living their best life, doing go-karting. And then one of the kids finds what looks like a hand. And I'm just like, this is like one of my fears. I like going for walks and stuff. I just don't want to walk around and find a remnant of somebody or find a body. Like I just do not want that. I mean, it's actually amazing and it's good that this happened, because I reckon if not for this child finding this hand, we would not be here right now. No one would know where Alisha was, right?
And it's never a mannequin, guys. It's never a mannequin. If you see
Exactly.
it, it's a body.
The police come and they're like, okay, this is a human hand. And I don't really want to get too graphic about it, but they kind of say, you know, that it looks like it's been there for a long time because the hand is just skeletal at this point. So obviously all the skin and muscle and everything is gone. One thing they clock though is that there are long acrylic nails on 2 fingers of the hand that they found, right?
I'm not gonna lie,
So
that'll
this
be me
leads
when I die. Like, you'll just see
100%.
but acrylic is on your nail, which is on flesh. So how is the acrylic still there? This is what
It's
I don't
not on your flesh because your nail and your skin are not the same. Like, I don't think your nail is.
But is your nail
like,
connected? I know your nail is a bone, but is it connected to the bone? As in, I thought it grew
no,
from
but your
flesh.
skin and the muscle would disintegrate. That would decompose, not your nail.
I know, but what I'm saying is because the nail, I assumed it was connected to the flesh. Wouldn't it just fall off? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I didn't know your nails grew from your bone. Am I making sense?
Oh, I don't know. Or maybe it just hadn't. I don't know. I don't listen. If anyone out there knows, let us know. I don't know. Either way, the acrylic was there, the skeletal hand was there, and that's how they think, okay, cool, it's probably a woman. So they're like, yeah, we can kind of, you know, deduce that this is probably a woman, but we need scientific proof that this is actually a human hand. And then we need to be able to confirm that it's a woman because it could just be a guy with acrylic nails. So at this point, the police know they have a hand and they know that, okay, there's probably a body nearby because why would the hand just be there on its own? What they don't know though, and this is why I'm not a detective because this didn't come to my mind, is whether this person died by accident, like maybe it was a drug addict or a homeless person or like someone who was attacked by an animal. Like it may not necessarily be foul play, like, you know, it may just be something bad happened and it wasn't a murder, although of course it was a murder because if not we would not be here, right? So the police are trying to find out if there's a body nearby, so they need to explore basically everywhere. And then do you remember we mentioned earlier there was like a massive bit of grass? Yeah, so they're like, okay, let's have a look at that. But the grass is really, really tall, like it's like 8 feet tall. Yeah, and it's
I can't
really
imagine
sharp.
grass that tall.
Yeah, maybe it's not 8 feet, maybe I made that up. Maybe
I
it's
think
like
you
6
made
feet. I don't
that
know, but it's
up.
hella tall. Even in the pictures it looks hella tall. Like,
Yeah,
I was like, it's taller than me, I know that for sure, but it's really sharp as well. So it's not even just like, you know, sweet green
is
blades
demon
of grass
grass.
where they could just, you know, run free. Yeah, it's like hella sharp, no one's trying to get cut. Yeah, so they take the cadaver dogs out there and I'm like, won't the cadaver dogs get cut? Like, isn't it sharp for them?
I mean, better canine than me. That's what
I mean,
saying.
100%. So the cadaver dog finds a body, but it's weird because it's not like there's just a body lying in the grass, right? They see like this huge block of concrete, and so the human remains are like inside the concrete, like encased, like embedded within
The concrete. Yeah.
So it's like someone poured cement powder on the concrete and then like it dried out and surrounded the body. So some parts of the body though, like it wasn't like perfectly encased. So some parts were out, for example, the hand, which meant that animals could probably get to it, which is why the hand was found elsewhere. So chances are an animal came, discovered the body, did what animals do, and then took the hand somewhere else.
Yeah.
So the police used drones to search the area just to make sure they found like everything that they need. And they find 177 of the 206 bones in a human body. So now they're like, all right, we need to start basically putting this body together, which is just like...
But what I don't understand is if the body was encased in cement, how did the animals get it out of the body? That's what I was
Because not all of it was encased. That's what
So
I'm saying.
did they
Like, some
pull
of
the
it was
body out of the cement?
No, she didn't pull the animals didn't eat the whole body. The animals just took a hand. So it's like them pouring cement on, but not all of it was encased in the cement. So the cement will only dry on the part of the body.
So the rest of the
it's
body's
touching.
inside the cement?
Yeah.
Because you were saying they found some of the bones, so I thought they had like...
No, so once they had so they found the body in the cement and they had to obviously get access to the body by taking the cement away, and then it's the body. That's what's there. So then they had to find out what, like, take the bones apart.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, remove the bones from the cement and then put it together.
Okay, yeah.
So they can't use fingerprints to identify who this person is because, like we said before, there's no fingers, there's no skin. And then there's this forensic anthropologist who just happens to be there. Like, she just happens to be at this random town at the time that this is happening. Her name is Dr. Moore, and this is her life. Like, she does this. Like, she's been flown around the country and the world to do this sort of thing, and she's able to arrange the bones and put them all together in 45 minutes. So now they can more accurately predict that the victim is a woman and she's in her 20s and she's black. And they say that they know that she's black because of the measurements of the pelvis, the femur, and the tibia, which are bones in the leg. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? How? What about these?
What about
the black
us?
bones
I thought that as well. I even thought they might say like the nose or something. Like, you know, like I was like, maybe the nose socket is a bit wider, or
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but she said from the leg bones. I was like, excuse me, how?
There must be a way. It makes sense though, because your body is designed to, I guess, in relation to where you. Do you understand what I mean? Where you're from? Am I making sense?
I mean, I can understand that it's a thing, and I mean, they were right. Do you know what I mean? But like, how? I mean, maybe that's something I need to Google.
There must be something that some way we don't realize because we don't see our bones. It's given Bones. Do you watch Bones?
No.
You don't watch Bones? I'm so surprised by that. It's about this woman that's a forensic anthropologist, and she can literally like tell how people have died based on their bones.
Oh, right. Oh, that makes sense because of the title. Yeah. So now we hear about the skull that they found. And the skull was, again, encased in cement, right? But it seems as though, like, when whoever did this poured the cement, like, the head was fully covered, right? Because because it's proper encased in cement, right? And so they say that when they are able to kind of, like, separate everything, the way that I am imagining it, and I could be wrong, is that it's kind of like when you're doing a mold of something.
That's what I was envisioning, like when you go to dentist and you have a mold, and then so like you take the mold out, and then like on the bits, so you have, say I'm doing a mold of my face, and I put like whatever it is, the mold stuff, so the mold on the molds, whatever I used to do the mold, that's kind of what the cement was. And then obviously her face was like the mold, I don't know,
right?
like
so,
I had not retainers, but I had something for my teeth anyways, and I envisioned like when you bite down and then they pour the thing into that, so that's what I was
like
thinking.
Take the impression.
Because there's something else I watched, and basically the person died, I can't remember what it was, and it was a similar vibe, like it was like some mummy they found, right? But like part of the body it wasn't fully preserved, so they did like a mold as well, and then they had a more accurate bust of their face, basically. So
so that's kind of like this, because they can see the imprint. Like, it's like they say it's like a face looking at them. Like, it's such a clear image. Like, they can see that it's a woman. They can see she has a nose ring. They can see she's got a lip piercing. Even her makeup is like still visible. Her eyebrows are still visible. Like, it's really clear. So the police contact the missing persons unit, and they're like, oh shit, that looks like Alisha McQueen, who's been missing since March 2018, and this all happened in August 2018. And that's crazy. It was that clear.
I couldn't find anything on I saw like one vague picture, but I couldn't find anything proper of like the cast they made. I don't know if you found anything.
I saw a picture of the cast. I'll post it on Instagram.
I didn't see anything proper.
I mean, to be honest, there's not much. I mean, maybe it's like what you said, because the case is solved, like, you know, everyone's moved on from it, but there's not really that much information about any of this. So at this time that she goes missing, Alisha is 27 years old, right? Or 28, as different articles said different thing. But either way, like, she's in her late 20s. She's a young babe. She had a lot to live for, right?
That's our age, mate.
So even though, honestly, even though everyone is pretty sure it's Alisha McQueen that they found, there's no DNA. There's nothing to confirm that it is Alisha McQueen. So usually, and I didn't know this, but DNA can be extracted from bone marrow. But because Alisha's body was so decomposed, they couldn't do this, right? They couldn't get fingerprints because there's no skin. So next they're like, all right, cool, let's try dental records. Like, maybe we can match some dental records to the skeleton. The only problem is the dentist that she went to didn't keep medical records. I was like, what Instagram dentist were you going to? Like, This reminds me of The Office when Dwight went to go meet Jan. So he told
Michael he was going to a dentist, and he said the dentist's name was Crentis, and that's probably the fucking dentist Alisha was going to, because how do they not have your records?
Yeah, it's very wild. Definitely fake dentist.
I always wonder when they're trying to identify people on dental records, what if you've just never been to the dentist? Not everybody goes to the dentist, so if you've never been, then what?
Yeah. So Alicia's sister, Tanisha, is able to identify her clothes and say, yeah, this is what she was wearing the last time that we saw her. So all these things are pointing to, okay, this is Alisha, right?
Yeah.
But we still cannot confirm that it's Alisha, and it's going to be very tricky to take this further until then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now we get to talk about Alisha. Alisha grew up in Taylor, Michigan, which is like, it's calm vibes. It seems like it's calm ends, like not a lot of crime, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she has quite a few siblings. We don't know exactly how many. I know she has at least 2 sisters. And some of them moved to Detroit, and she also moved to Detroit. She has 5 kids and raises them in Detroit. And it's crazy to me that she's 27, 28 and has 5 kids, because I just think to myself, like, that's like me having 5 kids right
There's
now.
no age when it's appropriate to have 5 kids, though.
Okay, even, I know, but imagine.
I know, but 27, I can only hope there were twins and triplets. Like, that's...
one set of twins, one set of triplets.
Yeah, because then it's like, whoops. But, like, how are you...
Yeah.
Nah.
But this is the thing, and this is like, I feel like it's like when you have a kid, yeah, you have one kid and then you have another one. Before you know it, like,
no,
you just got more.
It's not before you know it. You knew it. But the problem is, somebody was saying to me that when you have one, it's like, okay, but the second you have 2, there's no difference between 2 and 10. Like, somebody said that to
exactly. This is what I'm saying.
But I know
like,
that the shop
for
will be
you,
closed.
yeah, you're speaking for yourself, but especially if like you have a kid, yeah, and you find out you're pregnant and you're not mad about it, you're like, mate, okay, I got pregnant, I'm gonna have this kid. I just can't imagine myself being 27, 28 and being like having 5 children. Like me, that I can't even, sometimes I just won't have dinner because I can't bother to cook. I can't do that with 5 kids. I would have to feed those children.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. Like, yeah, she has 5 kids. With her husband Gregory, and they've been together for 10 years. So deep it, she dies when she's 27 and they've been together for 10 years. So this might have been like a high school sweetheart situation.
So she was popping babies almost like
her whole adult life,
yeah, annually or something. I don't know.
But the thing is that when you think about it, it's like, she is so unfortunate that she died so young. She was able to experience like motherhood. If I died right now, like what did I do? What do I have?
You have the podcast.
Empty bottles of wine and my teddy bear.
You have the podcast.
You
have the podcast.
And there you go. Sorted. So at the time that Alisha goes missing, she and Gregory, her husband, are in the process of splitting up. So she moves in with her sister, Tanisha, right? Now, Alisha, like, from what everyone was saying, Alisha was that bitch. Like, she was good vibes, she was smart, she was outgoing, like she was just a normal 27-year-old, like living her best life. Everyone loved her, yeah. But she is reported missing by her sister Tanisha on the 8th of March 2018. So it's a normal day. She's chilling in the house with her kids, and then around 8 p.m. she's like, okay, I'm going to go to the petrol station and I'm going to be back soon. And she didn't drive, I don't think, because I think maybe she was like, I don't know, it wasn't really too clear, but I'm assuming she kind of was like, you know how they have shops by the petrol station, like maybe going to get something, because she walked there, so it's not like she was trying to like get petrol to put in her car.
Yeah.
So Alicia's family say the police didn't do enough when they reported her missing, and like, she's a black woman, when do they ever do enough? Yeah,
literally. And
Alicia's family are like, you know what, fuck this. They call Crime Stoppers, they put flyers up of her, they post on Facebook, like they basically do all the groundwork. So I did see some like newspaper not newspaper articles, like news clips of them, you know, saying that she's missing and talking to the sisters and stuff like that. But the police are talking to family members, and they interview her husband / ex-husband to be on the 10th of March. So this is 2 days after Tanisha makes the missing persons report. They find out that Gregory was abusive. Surprise, surprise.
Literally.
Physically abusive, mentally abusive, financially abusive. And the whole being financially abusive is especially fucked up because like, this is the mother to your children. Like, she has to feed, raise your kids, like house
so you're
them,
really abusing your kids. Like,
exactly, and we'll get onto that in a second. Yeah, Tanisha also mentions there's infidelity. So Gregory would also, so when she's left him, Gregory would stalk her and like message her family and her mates, like very big abusive vibes, very big like manipulative vibes, like leave me alone, like I'm leaving you, leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's not about the kids, like leave me alone. So Alicia's phone records show that she was actually meeting up with Gregory, and there's video of her getting into this green truck that he's driving, and Gregory doesn't deny this. He's just like, yeah, like we met up, we had sex, I dropped her back home, like it wasn't that deep. Like I can explain why you would find her like DNA or whatever in the car. I can explain why you could see her on CCTV getting into my car, because we met up, we meant to. So at first I thought like, oh, maybe she was just doing like a sneaky link, like, you know, when you're not really trying to meet up with your ex because you don't want to hear your girls telling you not to. I thought it was one of those things, but apparently like her family kind of knew that she was going to meet up with him. It's also important to say though that the evening she went missing, she texted her daughter saying green F-150, right? And that's all she says in the message. And it turns out that green F-150 is a car, and that's the car that Greg was driving. It's his mum's car. And it's kind of like, why did she send that message? Did she feel she was in danger? Was she just trying to say, hey guys, by the way, I'm with Greg, like just so everybody knows, or like this is the car that he's driving today? Or
even if you're saying that, it's a sign of danger, because it's like, if I was going to meet you, I'm not going to text somebody like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm with BD and like this is the car she's driving, like, because I feel safe. So it's kind of like, for you to do that, it's kind of, it reminds me of when you're like getting in an Uber or something and you share like the license plate with your
location.
Like I remember when I did that in Nigeria, like with my fiance, because I was like, oh, I got the Uber from the airport, like, and I was like, oh, this is the Uber I'm getting into, because I needed him to know, like, if anything goes wrong, this is who to look for. So that is not normal behavior for someone you feel safe with. It's a red flag.
It's true. It's true. So when she texts her daughter, I found like a screenshot. I'll put everything on our Instagram. I'll put it on the same post so you can just swipe across and see everything that we're referencing. Our Instagram is 2girls1doc, by the way. So you see the screenshot of like Alisha sending the text, the green F-150, to the daughter, and then the daughter's kind of like, oh, mum, are you okay? And then she doesn't get a response, and then later on, a couple hours later, she's like, mum, like, are you okay? And then there's like no response, and obviously there's no response because Alisha is so sad. You just think, ugh, mate. So when the police search Greg's car, guess what they find?
You tell us.
They find cement, and it's like, okay, this doesn't necessarily mean anything, because like cement is cement. You can't test a batch of cement and say, oh, it matches this. But like,
are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Like at the like when I heard this,
Greg.
I was like, when I heard this, I was like, at the very least, you're fucking stupid. Like the cement is such an odd.
I'm glad that he's stupid.
No, I know, but it's just like the cement is such an odd thing to do with a crime scene. That obviously, like fucking you having cement in you, it's like I'm here, motherfuckers, come find me. Like please arrest me. Like, are you fucking?
But then I was thinking, and like nowhere says this. Like we don't know. Like what is his job? Like, is he like working in construction? Like, is there a reason he would have cement in a car? Because even for him to do what he did, I can't, like, how does that idea come to your head? I guess. That you kill someone and then you think, oh, I know, I'm just going to put cement. And apparently, like, cement and concrete are different, because cement is an ingredient in concrete. So it's like cement helps to make concrete, but like concrete is not cement. So it's kind of like, I don't understand. Did you, and it just was like cement powder, so it's not like you got like a whole cement mixer and you like poured all the thing. Like it was just, I don't know, it was just like, maybe that's just what you had around. Maybe you work in construction or something and you just had the cement and you thought, okay, I'm gonna do this with it. Because I can't imagine someone I can't imagine, because I'm not a killer, but I can't imagine someone going out of their way to go and buy cement to be like, right, I'm gonna come back, which is maybe what he did. I don't know. It's so
ultimately
confusing to me.
What this tells me is he's also probably homeless, because if you have this cement, why are you just keeping it in your car? You've used it, go and put it somewhere. Why are you rolling around with it in your car?
Rolling in the deep. 100%. So now there's a spanner in the works. Like, sit down, pull over, put the baby down, kind of spanner in the works. So it's January 2018, which, if you remember, is 2 months before March 2018, which is when Alisha was reported missing. So Alisha is staying at her sister's house, Tanisha, and some guy wearing a mask breaks in and beats up Alisha and her sister. Everywhere I said, I like the podcast I listened to and the articles I read said that he pistol whipped them, which I think is just so disrespectful. It's
literally just like, it's such a bitch move though.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you pistol whip? Like, are you?
It's just so rude. It's so disrespectful.
It's like a man slapping a man. It's like when Will Smith slapped Chris. Yeah. It was actually the height of. It's something your mum does to you. Like, you're actually slapping.
You're trying to sun me. Literally, it was just like, rah. Am I a dickhead?
Yeah, it's like pistol whipping is what like drug dealers do to like their runarounds. Like, are you actually dumb? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's just so rude. Like, it's violent, but it's also rude.
Yeah.
It's like, are you, anyway, so that really annoys me. Like, I was like, are you, and these are women, like, we'll get into, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, so this person that breaks in beats up Alisha, beats up Tanisha, and Tanisha doesn't know what's going on, like, she doesn't know who it is, and Alicia's like, bro, like, that was definitely my husband, that was Greg, like, mask, no mask, I know how he moves, I can see his eyes, I know that's him, yeah. Which I get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know the way that people around you walk and move, like their gait, their eye, whatever. So I get it, yeah. And so Tanisha's like, oh, swear, are you sure that's him? If you're sure that's him, bet, let's make a police report. So they make a police report and Greg gets arrested and he goes to jail. So then you're like, okay, he must be cleared of this then because he was probably in jail when Alisha went missing. But no, this nigga gets released from jail on the 1st of March. Alisha goes missing on the 8th of March. He didn't even try.
He said, I'm going to go right back where I came from. Like,
right back.
Free food and a bed. I'm going back there.
Let's quickly get into Greg's rap sheet, yeah? Because I can understand, like, making a mistake and going to jail for something, but I don't feel like Gregory was making mistakes. I feel like he was making choices, okay? Because he had been convicted for 4th degree child abuse, yeah?
What's 4th degree, though? What makes it 4th?
Oh, let's find out. So 4th degree child abuse, I actually think it's a Michigan thing. So it says the person's reckless act or omission results in physical harm to a child. The person knowingly engages in conduct that poses an unreasonable risk of physical harm to a minor, regardless of whether harm results from their conduct. So he was a deadbeat dad. Yeah. Or he was a shit dad at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other charges were 2nd degree home invasion, which is when he home invaded, and then the last one is possession of marijuana, which I'm not going to beat him up about that one, do you know what I mean? But this guy's been making bad choices, okay? So this kind of gives him 2 motives to kill Alisha, right? So number 1 is the fact that he is an abuser, yeah, and he wants her to stay with him and she's not doing that. And number 2 is her being basically the only witness in this home invasion case because she knows that it's him. She's the only one that can identify him. And he's asking her, listen, tell Tanisha to drop the case. Like, you don't want to do this, like, blah, blah, blah. And then Tanisha's like, no, are you mad? And I'm not going to lie, like, I would be Tanisha. Like, I'm not dropping this fucking case. You literally came to my house and did nonsense, yeah? Like, what else would you do, kind of thing? And so it's kind of like, if Alicia's not there, then there's no case. Like, there's literally no case anymore. So there's 2 reasons that he might have done this, yeah? So when Greg is released from jail in March, they put him on bond. So he has to wear a GPS ankle bracelet thing. Yeah. Again, this man is so dumb, but thank God he is. Yeah. So the police are like, oh, swear. So the time that Alisha was missing, you had a GPS around your ankle. So we basically can see where you are. They look at all the data and they see that Greg has been at the crime scene where Alisha was found not once, not twice, but 3 motherfucking times. Why were you there? Like, what was the reason?
Literally, it's not an amusement park. Like, what the fuck were you doing there?
There's literally nothing there. There's nothing. And then also I was like, how did you even know that this place was here?
Yeah, they need to search for more bodies.
Yeah. So we still have the issue of proving that Alisha is the person that they found, right? And if this is going to go to trial, if this is going to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt, they're going to need more than a picture in cement and clothes she was last seen in, right? So the prosecutor can't prove Alisha has been murdered. All they can do is accuse Gregory of what they call a body dump because they can prove that he was where her body was found, yeah, and that there was cement in the car and that. And surprisingly, a body dump only counts as a misdemeanor. Like, you get a year in jail for that. So say, for example, for instance, you kill someone, yeah, and I dispose of the body for you. According to these man, I would get 1 year in jail.
It's giving Jay from Serial.
Fam. Fam. Anyway, we'll do a whole episode on that one because
I Google his name every day. Anyways, let me not talk. I Google his name I need to know like if they've jumped him because
Jay. Anyway, I've got words for Jay.
It's on site, nigga.
So the prosecutor is like, okay, let's offer Greg a plea deal for the home invasion, right? Because like they have to like prosecute him within a certain amount of time, or they have to drop the charges. And they're in court and Greg is like, absolutely not, I'm not taking a fucking plea deal. I'm going to take my chances because I know that you have to either prosecute me and you can't because you have no evidence, you have no Alisha basically, or you drop the charges. So drop the motherfucking charges. Why am I gonna like be the architect of my own demise? Like absolutely not.
This is the smartest he's been since
the smartest thing he did and will ever do. Yeah. So while this is happening, and this is just like, I imagine it being like, you know, them court TV shows, yeah, where like, you know, someone's in court, whatever's happening, and then the door opens and it's like, everyone gasps and then they turn around. So while this is happening, yeah, a policeman comes in with an arrest warrant for the murder of Alisha McQueen. So they're like, all right, cool, yeah, fine, you know, you didn't get prosecuted for this home invasion case, but pow, here we are, murder charge, yeah. And they charge him with open murder, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's basically where they let the jury decide, or the judge, or I think the jury decide like what degree of murder it's going to be. They're just like, listen, we know that this person killed this person. We don't know whether it was premeditated, accidental, but murder is murder, and you man decide what you want to give it. We just want to charge them with murder, right?
Yeah.
For them to serve him this arrest warrant, yeah, they have to have been able to positively identify Alisha McQueen. And so we're thinking, right, okay, so how would they manage to do that? Because there were just so many issues, yeah, with trying to find out who the body really was, or who the body really like belonged to. So what happened was they were able to melt down the acrylic from her nails and then get DNA from the skin cells and stuff, which like stuck to the nail and the glue and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I was like, this is why forensic scientists are that bitch. And like, for me, this is why like I really liked true crime in the beginning, like back in the day when we were watching 48 Hours or Snaps and stuff like that. It was more about how were they able to figure out who did this? How were they able to solve this crime? And less about, oh my goodness, this serial killer is so sensational. Wow. Like, it really wasn't about that. It was really about, this person did this bad thing. Unfortunately, this other person died. How are we able to bring this person to justice kind of thing?
Yeah.
And this was a really good example of that. It was like, wow, nails are that bitch, because even when someone's attacking you, if you get DNA under your nails, they can identify people that way. Now I'm like, right, cool, I have to have acrylics. It's for safety reasons. Like, it's literally for safety reasons, so I could be identified should anything happen.
Literally, the amount of DNA under my nails must be crazy.
Bruh. So that's nearly the end, but suddenly it gets worse. So, you know, on this documentary, this is your first time here, we normally cover crime documentaries, we recap them and go over them, yeah? I could literally picture the scene in my head. Like, I could literally picture this like a documentary, play by play with the footage, yeah? Especially after I googled Greg to see what he looked like. I'll post him on our Instagram if you want to see him as well. So they're in court, right, to establish that the prosecutor actually has enough evidence to continue with the case, right? So from what I understand, this should have been a relatively straightforward thing, like, hey, we're ready, like, let's keep it pushing. But no, Greg had to make this more difficult than it needed to be. So there's another case going on, and I imagine it to be like them court shows where like everyone's sitting waiting for their case to be called, and like someone's at the front, so there's another case going on, and this guy is a carjacker, and he's being walked out from, so his case is done. He's being walked out into the holding cell, right? Greg is in the holding cell waiting to be walked out to have his child or whatever the fuck. So for some reason, I'm sure they've changed this law now, but when you're in the cell, you don't have handcuffs on. So Greg's in the cell, sans handcuffs, and then Mr. Carjacker is about to be put in the cell. So his handcuffs are coming off so they can put them on Greg. Please fund these people so they can have more than one pair of handcuffs, right?
As in, at the very least, just the handcuffs.
At the very motherfucking least, yeah. So now, in this short window when both of them are not handcuffed, Greg and Mr. Carjacker attack the court officer and escape. I kid you not, I kid you not. And everyone in court hears this like kerfuffle, and then the court officer runs into the main room and is like, oh my god, he escaped. And it's like, bro, you had one job. Like, you actually had one job.
One fucking job.
You had one job.
But where did they think they were escaping to? Because how far was you?
And so this, and especially when you hear like, this is fucking Detroit, yeah. One thing I've heard about Detroit is that it's cold.
It's
yeah?
gonna snow.
And it
One
was
thing
winter,
about Detroit is gonna snow,
bro. So it's cold. Like Greg and Mr. Carjacker, they're like, you know, in prison garms, yeah, and they're wearing flip-flops. And at first I was like, why are they wearing flip-flops? But it actually makes sense to put them in flip-flops, because if you give these man Air Forces, they're gonna run away successfully.
Black ones at that.
Bruh. So if you put them in flip-flops, then they're just less likely to get away. And like, that's 100% what happens, because they're in flip-flops, it's cold, there had been like an ice storm or whatever, it's slippery, slipping and sliding all over the shop, yeah, and it's fucking cold, yeah.
These guys are skating all over the shop, literally
all over the shop. Like, I just imagine this playing out with like that, like do cartoon music.
Yeah, you know? Stupid cartoon music, blumbering idiots.
That's exactly what I imagined. So long story short, the police tackle these men. One of the bad guys gets the gun, he shoots it, but then he's overpowered, no one gets hurt. And I was like, these are the actions of people that have nothing to lose. Like, nothing to lose. And this is why you're in jail, because you make bad choices and you continue to make bad choices.
Imagine this being your dad. What an embarrassment. That's
so embarrassing.
Like, you can't even escape. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, but if that was my dad, I wouldn't claim him at all.
Oh, of course not.
I'm sorry, just because you gave some sperm, like, I'm sorry, that does not a dad make. Like, that's a sperm donor. So it's now April 2019, and Greg pleads guilty to second-degree murder and the dismemberment of Alisha McQueen. So a month later, he's convicted and sentenced to 27 to 40 years in prison, but he also gets 5 to 10 years for mutilation of the body. Bearing in mind, at this point, he's only 30, so he could actually be out by like, I don't know, in his 60s. He could be out in his 60s.
Yeah, he needs to be in there for life. Yeah, 62 is still enough for a man to meet another woman and do this shit all over again.
Exactly. Yeah, so he has to pay court costs and random charges, but I'm like, how is he gonna do that?
Working in the fucking prison.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even if he didn't intend to kill her, I mean, he says this later on, like, even if he didn't intend to kill her, one, like, he killed her, and two, he went to such lengths to cover it up.
Yeah.
And if that hand had not been found, he wouldn't have said a damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me, because it's like, this is the mother of your children.
So now your children are
and all of the kids, I
motherless.
think at the time were under 10.
Yeah, that all your kids are motherless.
Yeah, you took a mother away from 5 children.
Yeah.
And that was just going to be okay.
That's insane. That's fucking, like, men are frightening.
It's so scary. I watched the sentencing hearing, yeah, and he gets a chance to like talk, and then he's just like, to my children, I'm sorry that you've all had to go through this. My actions weren't intentional. Like, he keeps saying they weren't intentional. Okay, but at some point, yeah, even, that's what I'm saying, even if you didn't mean to kill Alisha, yeah, like, you didn't even try and get help to see she'd be okay.
Yeah.
There's so many decisions that you made. Like, there's so many things you did intentionally that just, we can't overlook the fact that so sorry, I didn't mean to kill her.
And they were looking for her for ages. You gave them no closure, nothing. Like,
nothing.
Fuck off.
If she hadn't been found, I'm so sure he would have taken this to the grave.
Yeah.
And that's fucked for him to be able to do that.
Yeah. Fuck off.
So yeah, at the sentencing, you can see like who I assume is Alicia's family, and it's just so heartbreaking. Like, I'm so sorry, Alisha, that this happened to you. Honestly, like, it just didn't need to happen. It just didn't need to happen. And you know, people are like in abusive relationships and they're like, oh yeah, just leave, like, you should just leave. She was leaving. She literally had left him.
That just shut the fuck up about just leave, because 90% of the women that, okay, I don't know if that's the stat, but the stat is very high for the amount of women who are actually killed when they are leaving or attempting to leave. Like, it's a lot. Yeah.
And also, it's not easy to just leave, like,
yeah. And
she did it, and she left, and look.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Fucking insane.
Proper sad, man. It's so sad. R.I.P.
I'm just happy. I'm happy there was closure, because cases like this oftentimes don't have closure. I mean, even if people roughly know who did it, there's never the criminal charges. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally the only silver lining. But yeah, so that was the case of Alisha McQueen. Proper sad one. Proper sad one. So next we are doing the murder of Jill Dando, and like we said, for anyone who's new here, we cover crime documentaries. So that's the documentary we're going to cover. It's available on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's about the murder of a very famous British TV presenter back in the day.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I still don't really know what I think, like what happened,
That's what I'm saying.
who did it.
I feel like I've watched it before, like, but I don't know. When I start watching it, I'll remember. I feel like I remember watching this, like, for our documentary. Our podcast.
I don't know what kind of deja vu is going on here.
Yeah,
babe,
this
but
is
yeah.
insane.
So I'll put the trailer at the end of the episode as always, so you can listen to that, and then we'll cover that next week. And yeah, in the meantime, between time, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, 2 Girls 1 Doc. We're on TikTok at 2 Girls 1 Doc Podcast. All the stuff that I've referenced here, I'll put on our Instagram as well, so you can check that out and follow us while you're there. And if you're still here and you enjoyed the episode, which I assume you did because you're still here, then leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. It just helps other people to find us just like you did.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, friends? The
no,
fiance?
Just enjoy. Yeah.
All right then, bye.
Oh, and have acrylic nails always.
Okay.
That was a major key.
Some of us can't because of work.
Girl, you need
I'm
to.
going to send them this case.
I will sign a petition if you create one. Change the org.
All right then, bye guys.
All right, bye.
Is that right? Okay. She was my younger sister. Okay. We didn't share too many experiences together because of the age difference. But I remember we shared times, picnics on Western Beach on a Saturday or a Sunday, family picnics. I look at the monitor there. Who's that old git with white hair? Still can't get used to it. I'm Nick Ross, a broadcast, at least I was a broadcast for 40 years. Don't do much of it now.
Jill was my cousin. She was,
I was the Detective Chief Inspector in 99 and the Senior Investigating Officer for the murder of Jill Dando. We, the Metropolitan Police writ large, investigated that case so thoroughly, to the end of our ability, and examined so much to try to come to a conclusion. And we're now 20 years later. I think it is relevant in one way to hear a perspective from the police, and to give perhaps a view on it from a 20-year distance.